Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Better View. Thanks for sticking with us and joining us again. I know it's been a crazy couple of weeks. We had Thanksgiving last week. I was diving into some mashed potatoes head first. It was delicious. The week before that, I got into a car accident, but hey, I'm okay. Cars can be replaced. People can't. Divas can't be replaced. So I'm here. I'm ready to go. Feeling great. And I got my two sidekicks with me. Let me introduce these gorgeous ladies. First up, we have Rihanna Dilly. Rihanna, how's the move? Are you all moved into your new home?
Hi, Tracy. We are. We're finally unpacked and all settled in, and life is good over here. Thank God we're done with that. But it's been a crazy couple of weeks for me, too.
I heard that your cat left, not because it was upset or anything, but the cat got out. I made it sound like the cat was
He left
because he just couldn't take the moving anymore. He needed time away. But no, the cat got out, and you didn't find the cat, or you did? What happened?
So that was a fiasco. Yeah, he got outside. He was always escaping at our old house, but he knew his way around. I think he got lost, or somebody might have grabbed him. We've got flyers everywhere. We've knocked at every door. We've gone back to the old neighborhood. We have our neighbor put a motion sensor light and a camera on our old backyard in case he comes back there. And somebody found a cat that looked just like him and said, "Is this your cat?" And Brendan said, "I think it is." And he went and got the cat and brought it home. And we were like, "This isn't our cat."
Are you kidding? It reminds me of Meet the Fockers, like when he has
exactly.
The big shakes.
Because it looked just like him. And we were like, "Well, kids, meet Sasha."
Sasha 2.0.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that Sasha 1.0 is found. Maybe everybody can do a little prayer and hope that little Sasha finds his way home. I don't like to use animal stories. I want to hear a good story next week, to tie it all together. And of course, we have this other gorgeous lady with us, Deanna Lorraine. Deanna, you have to tell me, this petition that you started on Twitter has me hysterical. I snort laughed. And it wasn't.
You want me to tell you now?
Yes, tell me about it. Oh, we're going to get into it.
Yeah, I started a petition this week because, look, everyone from Alyssa Milano to Nancy Pelosi have been fighting passionately to have these migrants come through our border and live here legally, right? So I assumed, okay, since they're so passionate and fighting for this so much, what about a win-win situation, a win-win solution? I'm always a solutions gal. So I created a petition at change.org for Alyssa Milano to host all these migrant families, or at least a few, for 1 year. And she's responsible for housing them, feeding them, funding them. And I said, let's get at least 100 signatures, if not 10,000, because what a great solution. She can actually host them. They get to win. She gets to feel that gratification of housing these immigrants. And guess what? Crickets about this.
It's brilliant.
Petition. Yeah, absolutely, crickets. And I said, look, as soon as we get her to actually fill up her house, then we can go for the other liberals that have been crying and shouting about this. And I don't have a single liberal, and none of the celebrities that I put on the petition have signed it yet. It's got about 25 signatures.
It's so interesting that not one of them will step up to clothe or house them. So since we started talking about, I like to call them the Gimmegrants. Because it seems that they're awful demanding, these Gimmegrants. This Gimmegrant Migrant Caravan Invasion that's taking place on our southern border. And, isn't it adorable how they've thrown rocks and bottles at our border patrol, all these peaceful Gimmegrants, causing 4 of our border patrol officers to go to the hospital. And now it's adorable because they put out a list of demands to our country to meet as they fraudulently try to claim asylum. Deanna, I heard this today, and between that and your petition, it gave me a lot of joy because it's you got to laugh at it.
Absolutely. These are the most demanding Gimmegrants I've ever heard of, and they're waving their own flag, the Honduras flag, right? Going into our country, making a list of demands, while Alyssa Milano and the likes of her are staying behind their gated community saying that we all need to take them in. I've never heard of such disgusting hypocrisy in my life. And look, you know, they've already passed the opportunity to have refuge in Mexico. Didn't Mexico offer them asylum?
Yeah, but they don't want to come here. I mean, they, you know, most of them have given interviews to the mainstream media, and they're claiming economic reasons, which does not qualify a migrant for asylum, you know. And the fact that they're calling press conferences in this, they're staying in this stadium in Tijuana. There's about 6,000 of them. 4,000 of them are men that are young, like 20s to 30s, and 2,000
at least 80%.
Yeah, 2,000 are women and children. You know, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I mean, Brianna, can you believe the audacity of these people calling a press conference and saying, "Excuse me, Donald Trump and amigos." I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. I don't mean that's about as good as I do in a Spanish accent. You know, can you speed up the process because we need asylum?
Well, like you said, Gimmegrants, it's the most demanding thing. And actually, I tweeted about it, and the tweet went absolutely viral, and it was just, like, people were so mad when I said that you literally cannot say that people marching toward your border, waving their flags, burning our flags, disrespecting our country's leadership and Border Patrol, and then making demands and filing lawsuits, a list of demands. That's war posturing. That is an invasion. That's literally invasion tactics. And I mean, the fact that they're calling press conferences, it begs you to look at who's really behind it. It's clearly not organic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot.
I could be called a financial refugee, an economic refugee. I mean, I've kind of taken an income dive in the last year for being out of it as a conservative. Why don't I?
Well, the entire island of Greece could have immigrated here on that. Right. I mean, the whole world could say, "Well, our economy is not as good. Let us in."
That's why it's not a good enough reason to claim asylum. And these people, like, not for nothing, for these economic hardships, they look awfully well fed. Okay, they look awfully well fed for walking thousands of miles. Like, you know, the mainstream media is really painting this picture, and they're helping to fan the flames and stoke the divide in our country over this invasion, because they're selectively using images. And by selectively using these images and putting them in the media, it's possible to tell two different stories. And we saw this very clearly demonstrated this week with my favorite Gimmegrant Mom of the Year, Maria Mesa. Okay, she's the woman that you've seen in that image, running with the two children that are too old to be wearing diapers. One's not wearing shoes, the other's wearing flip-flops. And everybody around, if you actually look at the big picture, it's not cropped. They're all standing around like there's nothing going on. So,
right.
I mean, I find it unconscionable, if it is accurate, that picture was accurate anyway, that the mother would intentionally take children into the situation and be pushed up to the front, because that's what these men are doing. They're pushing the women and children up to the front
the men.
to try to get in as they're throwing rocks at our agents. So, Deanna, do you know that the woman I'm talking about? That
I know exactly who you're talking about. And then, you know, these magazines and the MSM are creating stars out of these people. You know, their pictures are all over. Like, she's the new star of this. Then the children in cages back in May, there was someone else that was the star. So,
or the toddler whose mom set her down, and they
for just a minute.
And she wasn't even separated, and she raised like $3 million on GoFundMe.
Yeah, where's all this money going? By the way, I mean, I could set up a GoFundMe account. So this woman, I'm sure, can have a GoFundMe in 2, 3, 1. And you know, the toddler, one of her daughter's hands was caught in a wiffle ball. So they have time to play wiffle ball. And there's people outside standing around. There was multiple tripods I saw set up. Mm-hmm. How is it possible that there were bombs going off? How is it possible that the tear gas was really that effective in hitting them? And what kind of a mother, what kind of a sick, deranged, irresponsible mother puts their children in this situation that they know is highly dangerous? They've already been warned for weeks now, if not months, from Mexico and from the Trump administration that if they stormed our border, there would be consequences. There might be danger to them. So what kind of sick parent puts their children to this, knowing that they could possibly be endangered, die, or be separated? Is that compassionate? Is that responsible parenting? I don't think so. She's the irresponsible and incompassionate one, not the U.S. and not the Border Patrol. And these people should get their parental rights revoked.
Agree. And, you know, she was sitting there in another shot. CNN was interviewing her, and she's got the canister of tear gas as a souvenir. Meanwhile, she's saying how frightened for her life she was, that she like whipped the shoes off the poor child because she was running so fast that they fell off her little feet. But you were not scared enough to go back to the scene and retrieve a souvenir gun. You know, a canister of tear gas. Like, I guess you weren't that scared, Maria, with her Dora the Explorer shirt and her little, you know, little Gimmegrants gunt sticking out there. Like, she had
their shot
belly. So, Rihanna, would you ever take your child into a danger zone? I mean, I know the answer to this, but I'm just trying to give you like a softball layup to... I know you're
the mother here. You're a mother. I'm not a mother.
You're Dilly, and I know that Dilly's very passionate about their children.
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd. We wouldn't even take our kids to the Trump rally with us because we were concerned, just not for any reason other than it was a lot of people. Like, well, we don't want to bring our kids into a crowd that's that large because you could lose a kid or someone could get stepped on, or if anything happens, if there's protesters and everybody rushes, you just never know what's going to happen in a large crowd. So I wouldn't even take my kids to a positive experience that was overcrowded, let alone a blatantly dangerous situation.
Let's play Russian roulette with our kids. Woohoo.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, it's sickening because you can just see that they're very obviously using their own children as pawns, like for the photo op. Oh, look over here, come over here. And she's just dragging them by their little toddler arm into this ridiculous situation. Yeah, and then dragging them back to go get the souvenir. I mean, it's like the world's worst parenting, bar none. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, honestly, there are times that I think, and anybody who's ever been a mom, and when you guys have kids, I'm sure you'll feel this, but like we all have this like inherent mom guilt, like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done this different, or I should have done that, or I messed up here.
I have it over my dog.
Exactly. So I don't know why this woman or anybody who's dragging their kids in this fake caravan. I'm sorry, it's fake. It's a
caravan.
Agree.
It's a caravan of Gimmegrants.
Hashtag Gimmegrants caravans. I like that.
Hashtag caravan.
Yeah, but to use your kids for something like that is just disgusting. And it just goes to show, I know they're getting paid because somebody put some money in their pocket and they said, okay, fine. Yeah, we'll take our kids, whatever. It's worth the money. And it's really sickening.
Yeah, you know, the one of my favorites was there's this woman, you've probably seen the video, it's been around a lot, where she's saying that they're feeding her beans and tortillas, and it's dog food. Meanwhile, she's got an Instagram, this woman, and this woman, man, she's got some confidence. She's in every outfit, full makeup, Louis Vuitton I'm not kidding. Again, a viral video of her Instagram account because now it's shut down, but it's out there. People got enough of the pictures. But what I want to know is, you know, Tijuana is scheduled to run out of money in 2 days. What happens? They want us to pony up some money, and I don't think that's going to happen. So what happens when this money runs out in 2 days? Deanna, any guesses, or are you just like setting a timer for the TV?
Someone's going to have to go rob some people or something, some countries. I mean,
something.
SHIT is going to hit the fan. Yeah. It doesn't work. We can't responsibly afford this. We can't responsibly afford and support these people, and neither can Mexico. So, you know, we need to actually work together as a team. Maybe this could be something that can bring our leaders together and say enough is enough and stop them, because it's bankrupting both of our countries. We simply can't afford it. We got to put American first. And by the way, the mayor of Tijuana was wearing a red "Make Tijuana Great Again" hat.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, and a couple last week, and he was saying Donald Trump is right. President Trump is verdad. True. Right? He said this is right. We have to put our own citizens first because we can't afford it. So boom. If the left can't see this, They need to like get in their own separate island. This is draining our country. We need to put Americans first at this point. It's like we got to put a tourniquet on the country and stop the bleeding.
Oh
Absolutely.
wow! I just took a class and Stop the Bleed, actually, which is totally off topic. But you just put a tourniquet and stop the bleed. But Congress has 9 days to send President Trump a border wall bill that would approve. He wants $5 billion for the wall. Chuck Schumer's agreed to $1.6 billion, but today kind of walked it back a little bit and said, oh, it's not for a wall, it's just for increased border security, because the left and the progressive left that's hijacked the Democrat Party has gone ape. So we really have 9 days to secure the funding for this wall. Otherwise, I think this time Donald Trump is serious. I think he may shut down the government and do what I think he should have done a long time ago to get the budget and to get the wall funding that he wanted. So, Rihanna, do you think we get the wall? Because I think it's now or never. If we don't get it now, I don't think we're going to get it until 2020 or beyond.
Well, one of Trump's slogans is promises made, promises kept, and he's already looking ahead to 2020. And build the wall was a big, big promise, and that one has to be fulfilled. And so I think this is one that he is going to go to the mat over, and it seems like now is the time he's chosen to do it, because he has threatened that he will shut down the government if they don't give him his funding. Now, we know he's a master negotiator, so we don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, but I do know the end result, 110% is going to be, we are getting the wall. And, you know, TikTok, it's going to happen. And I think that everything's going to kind of reach a frenzy before that. Because like you said, Mexico has 2 days until their funding runs out. They want the U.S. to pony up. We don't want to. They're going to have all of these illegal immigrants who are trying to get in, who are rioting and starving and burning down Tijuana. Nobody wants that either. So are they going to send in emergency aid? I mean, the media is going to have quite a storm with that if that happens. So I don't think that they will really let it get that far. But either way, at the end of the day, we are getting the wall. Yeah, and I think that the migrant caravan was just a means to an end.
Yeah, ironically, if we shut down the border completely, which President Trump has threatened to do, and I think he's very seriously close to
shut down borders, shut down the government, shut it all down.
If we shut that border and we completely seal it off, Mexico's not going to be happy. This would actually force Mexico to pony up for the wall, and then liberal heads are going to explode everywhere. So
promises made, promises kept. He said Mexico was going to pay for it. Is this how they pay for it?
It might be really interesting. What do you think about the wall, Deanna? Do we get agreement?
I just don't understand. Like, at this point, go freaking fund me. I mean, there's so many people that are
yes, that's actually a really good idea. Donate.
Yes, at this point, like, we need to take matters into our own hands. We understand that President Trump has been trying and trying and trying, and there might be forces that are so powerful that are working against him that just will continue to block him. I do think he's going to eventually get the wall, and I do think that he is the master negotiator, and he might have some aces up his sleeve, which he normally does. So I think he's going to get it. However, I think at this point, patriots need to put the power in our own hands and say, what can we do to actually help him? And this is the first time anything's ever happened where we've had a president that's been blocked every time by federal judges, mind you. And everything, every one of his promises continues to get blocked. He does the best he can, even with being handcuffed, but he still delivers. But we've never had so many forces working against one of our duly elected presidents. So we need to say, what can we do as patriots? And I think there are more than enough people. Can you imagine if the millions of people that voted for him even donated $10 to a wall? I think there's even already a few GoFundMes out there. I don't know what the legalities are of him being able to accept that money and put that toward the government. I would think that it'd be okay. I'm not a lawyer, but we are, we're willfully giving him that money for that reason. So I just couldn't imagine if we had the force of us patriots working towards that. We all obviously want the wall. You know, if 10 million people put in $100 or something, could you imagine? We can actually, it would be the most historic, epic thing in history where patriots, where Americans actually did something that directly helped the president and directly, like, made history, right? Created our borders.
Can we get our name on a brick if we donate more than $10?
I would donate a hell of a lot more than $10. There's a lot of rich ass people that would donate more than $10. But
I want a wall selfie in front of the brick with my name on it.
I donate my $10.
President Trump, as we near 2020, if they don't get this wall built, which he'll get the wall built come hell or high water. He is the promise keeper.
Brick by brick.
He will get that built. If let's say he negotiates with Chuck Schumer and he gets a down payment of $2 million and he uses it towards the wall, but he needs more. The Democrats fighting him could be good strategy, setting us up nicely for 2020 because we know immigration is a winning topic. And even Democrats, more on the moderate side, they don't like what they're seeing with the caravan either.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't think they're.
Well, it used to be their position. I mean, there's videos everywhere.
That's right. Of course. Everything that Trump said, Obama has said, Hillary Clinton has said, Chuck Schumer has said. All of them.
There's video of Feinstein saying it, too.
Yeah. It was good enough. Well, it was good when Bill Clinton was in office saying it. But, now it's changed because they need more voters because, the ones that were here and dumb have wisened up and they're woke, as they say, and they need people to replace the voters they're losing.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can shut down Planned Parenthood, defund it, and direct those funds to the wall. Boom.
Sounds like a wonderful solution and an easy solution.
What about our infrastructure budget? Why can't we doesn't the wall technically count as infrastructure?
Right.
It could, and also Homeland Security. It is a Homeland Security issue, isn't it? I mean, 4 of our officers got injured by these rock-throwing Gimmegrants. So, I just want Mexico to pay for it so liberal heads could explode as they were exploding this morning. I don't know if you guys were freaking out like I was, but
yes,
President Trump, he was on a tweet storm, and there's nothing that gets me more excited. Like, it gave me life this morning, seeing Donald Trump go on a tweet storm. And he basically, he retweeted an image on a pro-Trump Twitter account containing several of his political opponents behind bars and questioning why they are not under investigation for treason. So, I mean, I was like, whoa. I mean, I sat there open-mouthed. I was agape. I was aghast because it had President Barack Obama, it had Hillary Clinton, Special Counsel Robert Mueller, Loretta Lynch, Bill Clinton, James Comey, and the tweet reads, now that Russia collusion is a proven lie, when do the trials for treason begin? So, I mean, not for nothing. Deanna, I say Deanna, Rihanna, I'm never going to get it straight. Deanna, did you react like I did? Because you could see me. I'm getting spastic. When I start moving around a lot and I can't get my words out and I stutter, then I get spastic because I'm like getting all like giddy inside.
Yeah, it was like Christmas morning. I mean, these are the kinds of things that we patriots have been salivating over, waiting for justice for 2 years now.
Do you think it was a message? Like, was he giving us a subliminal message? Like, don't worry, guys, I got this.
I really hope so. I really hope this was kind of placating his base because we're obviously so disappointed over what happened with the midterms and this election fraud that is clearly going on right in front of our eyes. We're very despondent. I think he knows it. I think he gets that, justice has not been served with the election fraud, at least. And I think that he knows that we need a boost in our morale. We need a little bone to know that that justice will be served and that we will be vindicated, that we will no longer be called conspiracy theorists. And these people who have obviously committed so much treason, justice will be served for them at some point at least. So I really hope that this was some sort of a preview. I hope that this was some sort of a motivation to keep on going, keep having the faith, patriots, and trust the plan. I was excited to see that.
Yeah, Rihanna, it's so funny because I'm in my classroom this morning. I don't get much reception in there, and I can't go on to my Telegram. It won't go. It's blocked by their server. And I just, once in a while, I get a notification, and it was Brendan Dilley. His notifications had come through going, did the president just tweet that? Whoa!
Yeah, I had to read triple takes.
And I had no idea what it was because I can't go on Twitter at work. I have to wait for lunch. I have to leave. So I was like, what could possibly have happened? And when I started, I was like, oh my goodness. because I felt like he was always giving us a message that this might be where the new acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, is going. Maybe he has something up his sleeve. It felt like a vindication almost, even though nothing has really happened yet. What did you think when you saw it?
Oh my gosh. I was same as you. I was just like, whoa, what? Like, it's just, I had to look a few times. Like, I was like, it's not, I had to check for the verified check mark. Like, did he really retweet this? Was this actually him? Because no way. And sure enough, it was. And I was like, wow, that was like the most serious troll job from the leader of the United States. Like, what a time we live in. I've never seen anything like it. I couldn't believe it. And I mean, just the only thing you can deduce from that is that the people indicated in that picture, they're screwed. I mean, if he's tweeting something like that, they are screwed beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, it's done. It's done. The ship has sailed. That's what I got out of that. So I know, I mean, he tweeted that early in the morning, like middle of the night. So I know.
And you know he wasn't drunk because he doesn't drink.
Exactly. He was working. He was working. So that was part of his work. He was working. Oh my God. Yeah. I was like, woo.
Another thing that was so interesting, I find the timing of all of this very interesting, is that Trump threatened today in an interview with Washington Compost to declassify all the documents related to the FISA and the Spygate, and he said it's going to be very devastating for the Dems. Now, if you listen to Corey Lewandowski and David Bossie, they give you a lot of hints about what's devastating on those documents. There are names on there like Andy McCabe, James Comey, yada, yada. And there's one name that's always been redacted on all these memos and all these emails. That name is Barack Obama. And Lewandowski and David Bossie have come out and said, we know because somebody who has access to that document unredacted told us that it's Obama's name. So Obama knew about Spygate. So he was surveilling citizens. He was involved in all of this shadiness. He was involved in the dossier. It's like his dirty fingerprints all over it. And if Trump declassifies these documents, that's out there. And all of these people that are in that meme and more are in a lot of trouble. I mean, I know that Brennan was on those memos and on those emails. Yeah. Clapper was as well. So, I mean, basically almost everybody that was in that meme is definitely at risk at this point.
Well, we all know, and we've all just been waiting for that vindication. Yeah. Like Deanna said, like, it was like throwing us a bone because we were all a little bit, feeling down after the way the election went and the blatant fraud. And so it kind of gives us some hope, like, okay, we've had a different Donald Trump since post-midterm elections. So,
yes.
I mean, it seems like things are different.
Scorched earth Trump, and I love it. Yeah. But, we had that bumbling idiot, Jeff Flake. He tried to, thanks, Arizona. I mean, I have Schumer and I have Gillibrand, so I am not talking, trust me. But he tried to get a piece of legislation passed to protect Mueller's job, and Mitch McConnell wasn't having any of that. He got into his best turtle self, like, oh, no. So he said no. And so that's dead in the water. But I almost feel like at this point, I think that President Trump wants the Mueller probe to go on, because the longer it goes on, the more Mueller starts to look like Inspector Clouseau, like this, like, idiot. You know what I mean? Like, he's like such an idiot. He's got nothing. He's going after Roger Stone and Jerome Corsi, for Pete's sake. So that has nothing to do with anything. So the more it goes on, the more idiotic he looks. And the closer this gets to 2020, it may be a good issue for him to run on to gin up the base. Because you have this guy Mueller. Remember, when he was FBI director, he gave Jeffrey Epstein, who was a convicted pedophile, who was, flying Bill Clinton to his rape island to have sex with 15-year-old girls, he gave him a slap on the wrist. He only got 13 years for peddling these girls and having sex with them. So I almost wonder if, like, Trump's just got like some huge bomb he's going to drop to run just before the 2020 election. And maybe he just wants to play out as long as possible. I don't know. What do you think, Deanna? Am I crazy?
I hope so, because that seems to be what he does. The art of war, right? Art of the deal. He always talks about never interrupt your enemies when they're in the middle of making a mistake. And he tends to also like the suspense. Another one of his rules is that he actually likes to be looked at and undermined because he knows he's got an ace up his sleeve.
That's right.
So when people underestimate him or they think he's weak, he likes that because then he knows he's got something that's going to go boom, you know, he's going to smash them with. So I do have a sneaking suspicion that this is growing more because it's totally unconstitutional. Gateway Pundit released something this week, you know, the 10 ways that the Mueller investigation has been unconstitutional and the 10 biggest felonies that it's broken, the laws that it's broken. And Mueller has been like a mafia member shaking down people that have no relevance to the Trump administration, like literally shaking them down and forcing them to, you know, cough up some sort of a perjury or a lie or anything. Or even if they don't get the right answer, then he asks them to change their answer. I mean, it's all like gangster tactics.
Yeah, so, definitely.
I think that maybe it is a good thing that he's dragging it on, and I think it might be intentional. Otherwise, I just don't see how it can just be shut down like immediately. It's so disturbing. It's such a waste of money. It's a waste of time. And it's kind of scary and sad to see these people that are totally unrelated, and you know that they're innocent, having to get behind bars, you know, over something like Paul Manafort. It had nothing to do with the Trump administration. Right. It had nothing to do with, you know, the Trump transition. And it's scary, it's sad, and I can't wait till this ends, and I hope he's got an ace up his sleeve. I do predict he does.
Well, when Mueller was FBI director, he was going after Manafort back then because Manafort was a shady dude. But I really hope that if Trump wins re-election that he pardons Manafort because I think it's just the whole thing is ridiculous that he's going to. I mean, honestly, there's got to be a statute of limitations somewhere, and you can go back how far. You know, especially when we have these Democrats like Al Sharpton that owe $45 million in taxes. They're getting invited to the White House by Obama and enjoying like. Figgy pudding at the Christmas party, or actually they wouldn't have a Christmas party at the Obama White House. They would have like some non-denominational weirdo thing. I don't know. But, you know, Jerome Corsi really struck me because I like Jerome. I follow him on Twitter. He follows me back. I've, you know, done a lot of reading of his. And this guy's like a harmless, older gentleman. He's very smart. He thinks of conspiracy theories a lot and just like posits them like we do. And just because he did that, they dragged him in. He willingly gave them his computers, his email, everything. And they asked him about an email that he had sent, like, I don't know, like 3 years ago. And he didn't remember sending it. And then he goes, oh, yeah, I did send it when they showed it to him. And they said, all right, do you want to amend your testimony? He said, yes, let me amend it. They amended it, and because he wouldn't roll over and say that the Trump campaign knew about the WikiLeaks Podesta emails, that they were going to go after him for lying to the FBI. So it's like you said, it's all mafia tactics. Rihanna, what do you think about all of this? Where do we go from here?
I mean, I'm 100% with you guys. It's mafia tactics. He does totally look ridiculous, like Inspector Clouseau. I mean, it's very, for as much as they try to compare Trump to literally Hitler and Nazis, this is some brown shirt behavior. Yes. The tactics that they're using. And so I'll be really thrilled when this stupid witch hunt is over. I mean, they wasted millions and millions of dollars on this thing. And it's just this desperate attempt to just exonerate themselves and try and take out Trump because they know it's coming down the pipeline. And I think America has been fed up with it since before it even started. And it's just been going on the whole time. And I mean, it's got to end. It just has to end. Maybe you're right. Maybe he can run on it in 2020. But I would hope that before that, we see it kind of put to bed.
I know. I mean, what has he gotten so far? Manafort for something unrelated, a handful of guys for lying to the FBI. And by the way, you have to plead to lying because if the feds want you, they're going to make your life miserable and you're going to be, you know, completely broke. And that's what they did to people like General Flynn. That's what they're doing to Jerome Corsi too. And I know somebody who was like a Wolf of Wall Street type of guy. And the feds finally caught up with him a couple years ago. And, I mean, the guy might have made $20,000 on a shady deal. I'm not excusing that behavior. A lot of people lost a lot of money back then when the housing market went down. But, I mean, the feds wanted him for whatever reason, and they basically bled him to death. Like, he had to plead guilty.
That's what they do. Yeah, they'll drag you to court. Yeah, they'll drag you to court and they'll keep going and going and going and they'll drain you of all of your resources and ruin you and it'll consume your life. And then before you know it, you have nothing left. So the only other option is to roll over and sign the deal.
That's right. You have to submit. You have to submit. So I'm going to totally change gears because we didn't get to talk about this on the other show. And I think because the news cycle has been so crazy, this story got really buried. And I got to give credit for Deanna for reminding me about it. Celine Dion's gender-neutral clothing line for children. I can't even pronounce the name. Is it Celine Nunu? Celine Nunu? Not for nothing. Besides the fact that these clothes are gender neutral, which is just stupid, they are so ugly. Like, Congress would literally outlaw them. We could never put them on our prisoners because it would be like a human rights violation. These things are ugly. Like, they're all black and white. There's like one I saw, it was a shirt, and it's a huge black circle filled in, and it's like alphabet on your pants. I mean, it's just, the stuff is horrendous. You got to check it out online. So, Deanna, is it really necessary that we have gender neutral clothing?
First of all, it's not necessary at all because women and men are born different. There are only two genders. You can throw me to jail for saying that, but there are. Secondly, not only is it not necessary, but it's actually an agenda. There is an agenda to make us gender neutral. It's very satanic. I don't know what your religious beliefs are, but I think we can all admit that it is anti-God. It's making a mockery of God to say that, you know, a child can just choose its own gender at any time and that they should just abandon whatever gender that they were born with. They're abandoning their body parts, right, in their body, and that's completely anti-God. It's saying that we have the ability to be our own God. The other very creepy thing, if you look at it, there's so much symbolism in it. One thing that I just want to say is that she said, your children are not your own children. That's so creepy. That's like Hillary saying, your children aren't your own. It takes a village to raise a child, right? It's something that's very sinister, and it's part of this agenda to separate children from their parents and to have children be, you know, it's all about breaking up the family unit, right? So your children are not your own. They're just a speck in the universe, and they should be allowed to do their own thing and say what they want and choose whatever gender they want. It's very creepy, and it takes away, it strips parents of their sort of right to guide their own child and to raise their own child. And one last thing I'll say about it is if you actually look at the clothing, it's black and white, so it strips away from any uniqueness, any kind of color, and, you know, any kind of just boy or girl, any kind of individuality. If you look at the babies' faces, they're all miserable and joyless, almost like they're robots.
Yeah, like what they're wearing.
Yeah, and there's actual satanic symbolism on the clothing, right? There's satanic pentagrams and pyramids, the all-seeing eye. It's very creepy stuff. Upside down crosses. It couldn't be more in your face. Very creepy stuff.
I did hear that there were a few religious figures that came out against the clothing, saying that there are a bunch of satanic symbols.
Yeah, it's right there. It's like they couldn't be more blatant. It's not something that's like a conspiracy theory. You just have to look at the clothes. Some of the shirts say One World Order. Very weird.
I find it hysterical that there's like this thing that looks like a nightgown dress, and it costs $75 for this ugly white and black monstrosity.
The one that looks like a sacrificial baby sack.
Yeah.
It's like $200.
Yeah, they tried this stuff in the 60s and 70s. Like, all the hippies try to raise their kids without gender. But guess what? Biology takes over. And if you have certain hormones in your body, like the mothers that were trying to raise these kids genderless back then were aghast because they were taking like the brooms that they were, you know, playing house with and like using them as swords, and they were acting like boys are supposed to act, or they were acting like girls are supposed to act. I mean, you know, we are different. You can't make us the same. It's biology. And I love how liberals only like science when it comes to climate change. Then everything's so sciencey. So, as a mother, I mean, looking at this stuff, you're the mother of girls and a boy, and you know, give us your thoughts on this.
Having little boys and little girls that grew into bigger boys and bigger girls, it's not only an affront to whatever your religious beliefs are to say there are not two genders, it's an affront to science. Yeah. I mean, from the time that they're in your belly to the time they come out, you can tell the difference. And I saw somebody online, I don't remember where I saw it, but somebody was doing the gender neutral thing and said, check your chromosomes at the door. Like, it's literally what you're made of. How do you check that at the door? Like it's some kind of privilege that you're not supposed to have. And I mean, I, for one, celebrate what makes me a woman and what makes my man a man and what makes my children boys and girls. And to try and take that away from them is disgusting. And to try and, I mean, we already have gender neutral baby clothes. If you don't want your baby in all pink or all blue, they have yellow, they have green, they have froggies, they have all kinds of stuff that doesn't specifically say I'm a boy or I'm a girl, because you don't always have to tell everybody what gender your baby is, right? But to me, it's just a very sinister and creepy thing to watch, this overwhelming push from everywhere, all corners of social media and TV, like Netflix, this push so hard for the gender neutrality. It makes you wonder, why are they pushing so hard for this all of a sudden? And it's only been the last like 2 years that the gender neutral thing has really been pushed exceptionally hard in many, many ways. I don't know what Celine Dion's deal is, because she hasn't done anything except a residency for singing in Las Vegas for like a long time. Like, okay, go make another perfume. You don't even have kids, I think. Does she? Did she eat them? I don't know.
I think she has twins, and she's
okay.
Yeah, she was raising them as gender neutral, and not for nothing. Like, she's one to talk about like image when she is so crafted and honed into this model-esque type of figure. Like, give up your makeup artist first, give up your stylist, give up your plastic surgery, and then maybe I'll take you seriously about not raising your children in full color and letting them express.
Well, and you don't have to raise your children in stereotypes. When my son, he'll be so embarrassed someday for this, but when he was like 2 or 3, he had never had Barbies, and his cousin did. And he was so fascinated with them because it was something new. He was like, wow, Barbies are so cool. And he wanted a Barbie for his 3rd birthday really bad. So my son got a black Barbie with a purple dress for his 3rd birthday. And he just thought it was the coolest thing. And he played with his Barbie and his Transformers. So there are ways that you don't have to box your children in, and also celebrate who they are and acknowledge that scientifically they literally have different body parts. And it's like, it doesn't matter what in your brain you think you should or should not be. Like, you have a penis or you have a vagina. You just do.
Well, how old was your son when he like realized the difference? Or one of your, pick one of your sons.
Well, I mean, like from a very young age, they ask questions, you know, so they start to learn right away that boys are boys and girls are girls. And when they're really little, it's simple things like, you know, girls like to wear dresses and like to have long hair, and mommy puts on makeup or wears this type of jewelry, and daddy likes to wear baseball hats. And, and, you know, your kids are really imprint on you, and they like to mimic their parents. That's, you know, genetically a survival technique that we as humans and any animal does, is they copy their parents. And so the boys like to be like dad, and the girls like to be like mom. And sometimes the girls like to do more boyish, what would be considered boyish stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't mean she's not a girl.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong. Even like a 3-year-old boy who's like, I'm going to put her dress on and run around. He's going to run around, and he's going to like, you know, it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be all ripped off, and it's just all, because that's, I have pictures when my son, because my son and my niece are very, very close. They're like siblings because they're 5 months apart and they grew up together. And so I have pictures that I will hold on to for his first girlfriend when he was like around preschool age, of wearing his niece or his cousin's little ballet tutus, and they're running around the house in them, like the little skirt. It's really funny because he's wearing like a Superman t-shirt and his cousin's tutu. It's hilarious. He was like, I mean, I love it because, not for nothing, biology is going to take over no matter what. And it happened back when the hippies tried to do the same. Same thing. My son is a boy's boy through and through. He's totally boyish, and now he wouldn't be caught dead with a Barbie. But of course, because it starts to they get more testosterone as they get older, so they're going to, of course, act accordingly and be attracted to different things. So, Deanna,
the really sinister takeaway is that Deanna was spot on. Is that there's something very sinister and very satanic in what they're trying to do with taking away gender, starting with infancy. There's something much worse and much bigger to that, rather than just this. They're trying to lump it in with the LGBTQ.
Yeah, they're almost like it feels like the novel Fahrenheit 451 or one of those George Orwell.
George Orwell.
Where they're trying to make us exactly the same. I picture us, I'm a big Walking Dead fan, and there is an enemy in the Walking Dead comic. Yes, I read the comics. I call them graphic novels, thank you. But they're called the Whisperers. And they all have shaved heads, and they wear basically like zombie skin to blend in, and they really don't differentiate boy from girl, and they're kind of just all very zombie-like themselves, like the zombie skin they wear. And that reminds me almost of what the Democrats are trying to do. The Nexium cult, for example, with Keith Raniere, he was running these preschools, this Rainbow Garden preschools, and they were trying to deprogram these kids to not have emotion at all. So, and it's always on the left. It's always these weirdos on the left that do. We don't do it on the right. We celebrate, individuality on the right. And you think that the left is diversity. No, we're really diversity. I mean, it goes to show you in Congress, we all can't get along. The Republicans can't get along with each other and pass bills. So, Deanna, I'm going to give you the last word on this before we do our little thumbs up, thumbs down piece.
Sure. No, I grew up with 4 brothers, okay? And, I can't imagine them being confused about whether they're a boy or a girl or trying to squash gender out of them. I loved it. I mean, yeah, they would do weird boy things. They would have like fire engine fights with their penises, with their friends, and there'd be pee everywhere. They would play with my Barbies, but then actually cut their hair all the time. They would steal the remote control. They would be wrestling on the ground. I mean, doing the things that boys do. One of my little brothers had to wear a helmet finally because he ran into walls so many times. He got so many concussions. That's boys. And I can't imagine being like, from a young age, trying to take that sense of boyness away from them. Or me, since I was the only girl, my mom adored me, put all these different dresses on me all the time, like 30 dresses a day. And that's like the part of being different that I just love. And I think it's really creepy and satanic and unnatural to try to eliminate that sense of differences, those unique differences between us. And the other thing, just with Celine, I think it's so creepy. If you see the commercial, she walks in and she looks to the right and left, and then she, blows that glitter. And once their diapers are changed or their clothes from blue and pink to just black and white, she has this smug look on her face, like, yes, I did it. Like, who the hell is she? She's playing God. Who elected her to be God?
Was it gender neutral glitter?
Yeah, it was gender neutral glitter. And it's so weird. Like they act like the children are now liberated to have this choice. Children aren't liberated. They don't even think about their gender when they're that young. They just assume their reality, which is a boy or a girl. And I think by doing that, by saying that they have a choice, it takes away their most constant sense of self, which is what gender they are. And I think it sets them up for confusion and massive insanity. So yeah, that's what my last word on is that. I think it's very creepy. I think we on the right actually need to fight this and speak louder about this, so this insanity doesn't
very much
steal all our children's innocence.
That clothing line is going to fail miserably. It comes down to dollars and cents. Nobody's going to pay $200 for something that looks like a funeral shroud with
it looks like a funeral shroud.
Seriously, with symbology on. No way, no how. Maybe a couple of these social justice warrior moms will put it on their kids, but that kid's going to get laughed out of kindergarten.
Can they even afford it? Can liberals even afford
watch the commercial? Yeah, no one's going to watch the commercial of the creepy witch blowing glitter on your baby.
She does look like a witch in that commercial. It is a lot of weird overtones there. It is really creepy.
Watch it again.
Yeah, definitely the best word for it. So we've come to that point in our week where we're going to do our little thumbs down. Why am I negative? I think it was the Celine story that did it to me. I was so uplifted. Now I'm depressed. Now we're going to do either a thumbs up, thumbs down. You can pick whichever one you want to do first. Rihanna, go for it.
Okay. My thumbs up for the week is, I think you guys, the last time we did our show was before all the holiday craziness and stuff. But I was about to go try on wedding dresses, and I picked my dress.
Yay!
I forgot to mention that.
To the dress.
And it's so beautiful. I can't wait till you.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to see.
I'm super excited. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Like she's all lost in her mind.
I know. I drifted away from. I don't even want to talk about thumbs down.
She doesn't even want to go into a downer right now. Well, you don't have to.
I know. No, I'll do my thumbs down. Actually, I really should give her a thumbs up. It's Ocasio-Cortez because I watched that mashup of all of her kind of faux pas up until this moment, and they were just hysterically bad. And I was like, wow, I thought they did really bad with the guy from Georgia who asked if an island would flip over if you built too much stuff on it. And this is like even worse than that.
I think it's hysterical. That is really funny. So we'll go over to Deanna. You give us yours of the week. What did you choose?
Okay, I would say I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. next weekend because I'm speaking at the American Priority Conference.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Really, and I hope that you guys can come. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be there, but it's going to be really cool. It's going to be in Washington, D.C., 6th, 7th, and 8th. Lots of conservative leaders and speakers will be there. Roger Stone will be there. Pastor Mark Burns.
Yeah, I want to go. All my buddies and amigos are going to be there. You're going to be there. Pastor Burns, Tracy Beans, Brandon Shaw. Like so many really good people are going to be speaking. Buzz Patterson. So many of the homies. Wow. I want to try to make it down there at least maybe Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, try if you can. And I'm doing a thumbs up because I just finished my speech, and it's going to be a new rendition of "I Have a Dream" speech.
Ooh, oh, wow! Interesting, very interesting.
It's going to be It's going to be overall very uplifting. But I think after this many years, it's time that we do a little "I Have a Dream" 2.0 from a bit of a different perspective on the state of America and my vision for America and for relationships and our culture. So I'm very excited about that.
Ooh,
I'm excited.
Cool. I'm excited too. Very interesting concept.
And I picked out the perfect onesie for it too, or the perfect outfit for it.
Well, that's onesie. I was talking about baby clothes.
It's not black and white, is it?
No, hell no. And my thumbs down for the week is I was just checking on my little my petition. You know, my petition for having Alyssa Milano host the Migrant Families. It's only got 27 signatures still so far. 27 signatures.
I signed.
And
I'm signing. Let's retweet it, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, retweet it. Alyssa Milano still hasn't discussed it, and I keep tagging her on it. I've tagged her about 12 times, and of course, every time someone retweets, it tags her. And crickets from Alyssa Milano.
Yeah.
We'll see. So that's my thumbs down for the week.
Ooh, Alyssa.
Yeah. She's got enough room
no
in her
compassion.
House
No heart.
I have to say my thumbs down. I love casinos. I love to gamble. I'm not shy about saying
it. I love. We should all go to Vegas.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Without doubt. We should have gone to the what's that? MGM over by Washington. But maybe next time.
We would be trouble.
Bad influence.
Yeah.
But there was this guy. His name was Glenn Richardson. And speaking of Vegas, he sued Mandalay Bay because the hotel had a sign. It fell on his head. Anyway, they go to court. The hotel offers him $2.5 million. He turns it down, and it goes to the jury. The jury awarded him $500,000. So this stupid greedy jerk lost $500,000. So serves you right for being greedy. But
yes, greed.
Jury. Now my thumbs up goes to my homegirl, Judge Judy. She is the highest paid TV host out of them all, $147 million every year.
Wow.
So I have a spot in my heart for judgmental, obnoxious jerks because I am one with a really bad accent. So I want to propose a deal to the people that make Judge Judy. I can be an obnoxious, loud jerk for 10% of what she makes. And
Judge Tracy.
Yeah, I don't need prune juice enemas 3 times a day in order to, be happy. So I think it's a win-win situation. Call me. So
like that. Let's start a petition.
That's right. Maybe we should do that one next after Alyssa Milano. So the better view, we're expanding. We're going on to some new platforms. I can't really talk about that right now. But if you want to get on the bottom floor of this train before it really skyrockets and takes off, please DM any one of us and we'll get you in charge with our marketing people. We offer great deals. We offer discounts for veterans, first responders. We want to connect MAGA consumers with MAGA businesses. So if you have a MAGA business, you want advertising, I reach just myself 4 million people every month through social media and broadcasting on the different venues that I'm on. And I know these ladies, I mean, this one's like hobnobbing in Washington, D.C. She's speaking, and this one's all over Arizona. Trump is giving her the thumbs up and waving to her. So, I mean, we got some power in this posse over here. So just DM any one of us.
We are influencers.
That's right, we're influencers. And we will definitely boost your income, and that's what we want to do. It's capitalism. Yay, capitalism. It's great.
Win, 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 winning.
That's right. So, Deanna, where can people find you on social media?
Go to my Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel, which is very popular, at Deanna Lorraine 7. That's Deanna Lorraine 7.
And I'm sorry I call you Deanna, and I'm sorry I call you Rihanna with my New York accent. It just comes out that way. So I apologize.
You can just call me D.
That works. That's easier from my accent. My lips are lazy.
Dirty D.
Yeah, my lips are lazy. And Rihanna, where can people find you? I know you have a really cool new art website. I was checking it out.
Oh, yeah, I love your art.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I just launched it today. I'm super excited. I finally sat down.
I had no idea you're such an artist.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my passion. I've been doing it since forever, since I was like old enough to hold a paintbrush, I think. So that's my thing.
That's cool.
So, but you can find me at @_Hublette on Twitter. And my new art website is dillyfineart.bigcartel.com.
Ooh, Big Cartel. Watch out, El Chapo.
I'm slaying in art.
I am Tracy Belmonte at Real Politidiva or politidiva.com. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. #HersDay. See you later, everybody. Peace.